to another talk series. It's because of you that we're here, but it's because of you that this disease just might change with the help of these researchers. And I just want to say, together, we can end ALS, but with not together, we're not going to go places. So welcome. Thank you for spending your time with us. And you're all precious, and we know it. So thank you for being here. Over to you, Kirsten.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce our two speakers tonight from NeuroSense Therapeutics. Mr.Alon is the co-founder and CEO of NeuroSense Therapeutics. He is a life science executive who, prior to the establishment of NeuroSense, founded Medican Consulting, a successful consulting firm with clients from diversified biotech companies, and mainly in the neurodegenerative space. Medican excelled at executing efficient, accurate, and innovative drug development programs for its clients. Prior to that, Alon worked at Teva. That's our first speaker. And our second speaker is Dr. Ferenc Tracik. He's a medical officer and has 20 years of experience in general management, medical affairs, clinical development, and commercialization in the biotech industry. Before joining the company, he served as the global head medical of Orphazyme from May 2017 until November 2020. He served as VP of the Medical Europe, Canada, and partner markets of Biogen Incorporated from November 13th until April 2017. Before joining the pharmaceutical industry, Dr. Tracik worked at the University Clinics of Neurology at Berlin and the University Clinic of Innsbruck. Dr. Tracik holds a doctoral degree in human medicine from the Free University of Berlin. Please Please join me in welcoming our amazing speakers for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. I'm glad to be here again and speak to you with my colleague, Dr. Tracik, who is the Chief Medical Officer at NeuroSense and is responsible for the global phase 2b clinical trial that is about to come to a close soon, and we'll share with you all the updates regarding the study. As you all know, I'm located in Israel. Currently, I'm in Israel, and as you know, these are challenging times in Israel, and yet this group of people is so empowering, and it's comforting to be here with you and to focus on how we can serve the cause and find something that can help people who suffer from ALS. I would like to request something actually from you before we start, and also after we'll end this presentation, and it's just to share what we have to say about NeuroSense, about the clinical trial, to share it with people that you care about, to share it with people that you love, to share it with other people who suffer from ALS, so they will have hope. They will also follow our news, and hopefully within a month from now, we might have something big, really big to share. Crossing fingers. Okay, and so let's start. To those of you who are not so familiar with NeuroSense, we are a company that focused on ALS. That's where we are coming from. That's our main goal and purpose. Why the company was established is actually to help people to find an effective treatment so we can help people suffer from ALS. Next slide. Just to mention that we are listed on NASDAQ, and this is why we have these forward-looking statements, since we might provide some forward-looking statements, and this is why it's here, this slide, but we can skip now. So our pipeline is, as I mentioned, mainly ALS. We are focused on ALS, and we are about to conclude soon the phase 2b study. We are also working on Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. With Alzheimer's, we are a bit more advanced in Parkinson's, and about to start a phase 2 clinical study in this indication as well. Next slide. Okay, so just a glance about PrimeC, our lead therapeutic candidate. Thank you. So it's a novel combination of two existing compounds, but in a unique formulation and unique doses that we developed in order to maximize the synergism that we found between these compounds. It's ciprofloxacin and celecoxib. I think that all of the people who are in this field are aware of it. And here we combine them together in a unique formulation and doses in order to gain the maximal synergism between these compounds and affect this disease. We had already a phase 2A clinical trial with very promising results. We showed biological activity of the drug, and also that we actually observed changes in ALSFRS and the vital capacity. Now we are running the phase 2B study, and top-line results are expected within a month from now. Since we are working on a combined therapy, it's of existing molecules, it's an expedited and there is regulatory pathway towards the market, so we might get there faster than the usual route with the new chemical entity. So hopefully, if the results are really strong and really promising, we may get it to more and more patients sooner rather than later. Next slide. Okay, so as I mentioned, celecoxib and ciprofloxacin, and Dr. Tracik is going to discuss the mechanism of action and also the clinical results from previous study and the current study that we are expecting to announce results in a month from now.
Thank you, Alon. So good afternoon, good evening here from Germany. And I'm, let's say, the satellite of NeuroSense, since all my colleagues are located in Israel and I'm here in Germany. So I can also say guten Abend to Nadia. Good to hear that there's another German here in the call.
Vielen Dank, guten Abend.
So, yeah, I will briefly, let's say, talk about PrimeC. I think most of you know PrimeC, but I thought it's some kind of a quick reminder. I mean, ALS remains a high unmet need due to the heterogeneity and the complexity of the disease. Multiple pathways are involved, and monotherapy simply is not enough to make a meaningful impact. And I mean, we recently saw the, let's say, encouraging data of a combination therapy, which is Relivio, consisting of phenylbutyrate and TUDCA. Therefore, we think a new approach is needed. We believe that the most effective way to tackle ALS is on multiple fronts. As you might know, PrimeC is a unique combination therapy assembled of two FDA-approved drugs, celecoxib and ciprofloxacin, aiming to work together synergistically on more than one key target. Utilizing combination therapy holds two main advantages. One, it can help improve the pharmacokinetic of the drug. Second, it can help enhance the mechanism of actions of the drug. PrimeC utilizes both strategies. And here on this slide, you can see a quick summary on the different mode of actions, which are actually super important for ALS, such as neuroinflammation, oxidative stress, microRNA synthesis, and iron accumulation. And this is actually a very interesting study showing that if you combine ciprofloxacin with celecoxib, you can significantly increase the concentration in the cell, actually in the neuron, of ciprofloxacin. On the right-hand side, you can see the gray line, which is ciprofloxacin in monotherapy. If you combine it with celecoxib, you can see that you can significantly increase the intracellular concentration of ciprofloxacin. This is very important. First of all, with this, let's call it trick, right? You can increase the effectiveness of a drug because you increase the concentration in the cell, right? And this is done by celecoxib, because celecoxib actually inhibits a pump which is responsible for the efflux of ciprofloxacin from the cell outside, from the cell to outside. However, this is one thing, but celecoxib is not just increasing the intracellular concentration of ciprofloxacin, it also has a proven effect on the neuroinflammation, which might play a very important role also in ALS. And as Alon already mentioned, PrimeC is a novel formulation of these two compounds, ciprofloxacin and celecoxib. And as you can see here in this graph, we were able to develop a unique formulation which actually harmonizes the pharmacokinetic profile of both compounds. As you can see, the blue line is ciprofloxacin, the green line is celecoxib. And both peaks in this pharmacokinetic profile are actually fully harmonized. This means that we can leverage the maximum, right, of both compounds in the cell, and hopefully also for the treatment of this horrible disease. Now I'm very pleased to present you some, I would say, really brand new data. And these are is a in vitro experiment, right? For this in vitro experiment, we are using human cells, so-called iPSCs. These are activated pluripotent stem cells of patients living with ALS. Actually, in this case, these were patients with living with C9orf, right? So it's in vitro, but we are using human cells of patients. And what you can see here on the right-hand side is quite an interesting, let's say, phenomenon, what we could see in this data. So here you can see the purple curve. This is the combination of ciprofloxacin and celecoxib. And this is the survival of these cells. And as you can see, almost all of the cells are dying after 15 days, right? But the cells actually treated with PrimeC have more or less the same survival curve as the vehicle cells. These are healthy cells. So the cells treated with PrimeC behave actually the same as healthy cells. This is really important and I would say quite encouraging, because you can see that also the combination is better than each of the mono, and the shortest survival are show the cells who are not treated at all, right? And what we have also done, we compared the survival of the cells treated with PrimeC with other already available or in drugs in development. And what you can see is actually that the PrimeC combination is very close to the healthy control and actually almost better than all the other comparators. These are quite new data, and we personally think that using iPSCs is a very innovative way forward to develop drugs, and we're going to use it also for PrimeC, not just in ALS, but also in other diseases such as Alzheimer's disease. So let's talk briefly about our phase 2b trial. We call it the Paradigm trial. A Paradigm is a randomized, prospective, double-blind, blinded, placebo-controlled study. We are doing this study with 69 patients. PrimeC, as said, is a placebo-controlled trial, but the patients are randomized 2-to-1 in favor of PrimeC. As said, we are using the new formulation of PrimeC. The study consists of 2 phases, a 6-month double-blinded phase, followed up by a 12-month open-label extension phase. We are seeing the patients every 2 months in the clinic, and we are running the study in Canada, Italy, and Israel. Which is quite, let's say, unique or innovative in this phase 2 trial is that we decided that we have chosen biomarkers as the primary outcome. In our study, it's TDP-43, one of the hallmarks in ALS, and prostaglandin 2. TDP-43 is if you wish, a misfolded protein which aggregates in the neuron in ALS, and prostaglandin 2 is a very well-established biomarker reflecting the inflammation in the neuron. Of course, we are also looking into clinical outcomes such as ALS-FRS, slow vital capacity, survival, quality of life, muscle strength, and so on. And another primary outcome of this study is, of course, safety. This is a quick overview. Here are the primary and secondary outcome, as I just have mentioned it. So it's biomarkers, neuroinflammation, TDP-43, all the clinical outcomes, and as said, quite a wide, let's say a long list of safety and tolerability measurements. We decided to have quite wide inclusion criteria, so patients are allowed to participate in this trial between 18 and 75 years of age. All forms of ALS are allowed in this study, so familial and sporadic ALS. The disease duration has to be less than 30 months prior to screening. And patients who are eligible to this trial should have a ALS-FRS slope from disease onset of higher than 0.3 points per month. The ALS-FRS at screening should be 25 or higher. And since PrimeC is a pill, patients, of course, have to be able to swallow the pill. So item 3 of the ALS-FRS should be 3 or higher. And patients are allowed to take ALS drugs which are approved, such as riluzole, edaravone, and riluzole. And all patients should have a slow vital capacity of higher than 60%, and the BMI should be between 18 and 30. I won't go through all the exclusion criteria. They are mainly contraindications to the two compounds, celecoxib and ciprofloxacin. One thing what I want to mention is that patients with a tracheostomy or PEC are not allowed in the study because, at least currently, PrimeC cannot be administered via a feeding tube, but we are working on a new formulation which might be also be administered through a feeding tube. This is where we are. So actually tomorrow, November the 2nd, we will have the last patient out of the 6 months double-blinded phase. And at least this is the plan, and we are very, very confident that we're gonna meet our timelines. So in the first week of December, we're gonna have the clinical top-line results of this 6 months double-blind phase. And one thing I want to emphasize is that 96% of the patients were able to transition from the double-blind phase into the open-label extension phase. So we had only 4% dropouts during the 6 months double-blind phase, which is quite remarkable. And I won't go into, let's say, too much details, but we are doing a lot more than, let's say, simple biomarkers. We are also looking into proteomics. We have a wonderful collaboration with Biogen, my former employer, right? So Biogen is actually doing the neurofilaments in this study. And as you might know, I mean, Biogen is really a company who knows how to measure neurofilaments and how to interpret the data. However, we are, of course, also working on the identification of novel biomarkers with different academic institutions. Very important collaborator is the MGH in Boston. With that, I really want to thank all our collaborators. I mean, we are a new but small but powerful biotech, but I have to say I'm very, very proud to have such knowledgeable, fully dedicated collaborators around the world, right? And especially our collaboration with patient organization and association is very important to us. Yeah, and that's a photo, at least of part of the team. And as said, I mean, just to summarize what we presented to you. So PrimeC is a novel combination therapy designed to address multiple disease targets in a synergistic manner. We have promising efficacy and biomarker results and an excellent safety profile observed in a 12 months 2A study. And as said, we are very much looking forward to see the top-line results of our phase 2b study, the paradigm study, in roughly 5 weeks. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. We are welcoming, of course, questions from you guys. And just to repeat what Ferenc said about collaborations, we're true believers when it comes to collaborations. As Mefins is saying, and his shirt is saying, together we can end ALS. Together is not just us, the team that is fully dedicated for the cause, but also other teams and other forces that can join together. And we really appreciate our collaborators. We appreciate you. We also appreciate communication. And as mentioned, please spread out the word about this. And hopefully, in about 5 weeks from now, we'll be able to share some good, positive, hopefully really big news.